Welcome back, everybody. We're so back. It's great to be back. I know it's been several months since I posted on YouTube, and a lot has happened since then. I guess first things first, I'll mention, as you can see, I'm not in my normal office where I've recorded a lot of YouTube videos in the past. That is because this is actually my new office. My previous office has since been converted into our nursery for our daughter, who will be coming in about a month's time here. So this is the new scene. I'll kind of give you a quick look around here. This is just the basement, but it's all mine now. So I get a TV now, which is cool. I can watch basketball or whatever while I'm working here. But aside from that, I've been really busy with life, preparing for a kid. I unfortunately had a death in the family this holiday season. And as far as what's been keeping me busy, it's been my supplier acquisition service for high ticket dropshipping and my Google Ads service. So, and high ticket dropshipping itself. So apologies for not uploading any content in the last few months, but I promise you there is a lot on the way because there's much to discuss as we head into 2025 when it comes to e-commerce and when it comes to high ticket dropshipping. So stay tuned for all that. I'm going to try to get back on a regular posting schedule, but for this video, I thought we could talk about what high ticket dropshipping is actually going to look like for 2025. I think the biggest question always is, does it still work? I've talked about this in multiple of my videos. The short answer to that is the model is not going away. Really the only thing that's going to change over time is the niches, and the beauty about high ticket dropshipping is you're not really selling gimmicky short-term trendy products. You're selling products from established manufacturers, from known recognized brands, and you happen to be selling really expensive products, so you're making it $1,000 plus per sale. But the reality is it's not immune to the challenge that all other e-commerce models faces, and that certain niches just get more competitive over time. I know for a fact that my niche that I sold my first business in back in 2023, it's the competition is definitely higher in that niche than it once was. Luckily, it's still profitable. Luckily, I actually know several businesses that are still doing quite well in it online. But the reality is that you have to keep doing your research and kind of finding the diamonds in the rough as far as what are promising niches. As you all know, I really tend to lean towards need-based products. I think the power and the value of need-based products versus more lifestyle and I guess not need-based products. It's such an easier sell, and it's such an easier product to build a long-term business around, because if it's need-driven, there's likely always going to be a need, and it's a much easier sell than trying to convince someone to buy a nice sofa or a nice chandelier that you're carrying around your website. There's just a lot of subjectivity that's otherwise eliminated when you're selling need-based products. And I actually have a very recent example of this with a student in my course. I won't name his name, I won't name his niche, but he followed my course. He joined back in, I think it was like early summer. And he's built a business that is very much need-based. It's actually super high-ticket products. I mean, I'm talking $5,000 to $30,000 singular product orders. And unfortunately, he's dealing with kind of a Shopify payments issue at the moment. And we're hoping to get that resolved for him. He's actually a client of mine in my Google Ads service, but he's consistently getting quote requests and order requests for $20,000 to $30,000 a pop. So this was all from him following the same kind of parameters that I look for as far as need-based products. Some of it's organic. And like I said, he is a client of mine with the Google Ads service, but the Google Ads are on hold while he kind of gets this Shopify payment situation figured out, because we just don't want to put the cart ahead of the horse. So long and short, it definitely is still a viable option, because the model, like I said, is not going away. I think it really just depends on what niche you want to get into. Let's talk about what are good niches and what to look for in a niche besides just need based. Obviously, low competition. Everybody wants a low competition niche. I think there's also an angle for partnering with otherwise really difficult brands to get in the door with. Now, the other edge of the sword is that they're going to be really hard to get in the door with, especially if you're just getting started. But if you can get, let's say you're in the generators niche. Generators are pretty common. You're going to end up with a lot of competition. But if you can get in the door with like companies, say like Honda, or like a General Electric, a super like big name brand. I've had some students kind of go about it this way, where they're not necessarily in a super uncommon product, but they're going after kind of these big whales of brands. I think that's another interesting and actually super sustainable way to go about it too. Another example that comes to mind for this very thing is when I was selling my business last summer. I caught wind of, and I think I've mentioned it on YouTube before, caught wind of a business that was selling for somewhere in the ballpark. You'll have to go back and fact check me from my last videos or whenever I said it. It was somewhere in the realm of like $2 million they sold it for. It was around a year-old business, high ticket drop shipping, and all they sold was attachments for Caterpillar bulldozers. That's all they sold. But the biggest value prop was that they were in the door with Caterpillar, which is one of the biggest manufacturers on earth. So point being, yes, it's going to take a lot more high level and professional communication skills. And, that's something that either comes with time and experience in an adjacent career like sales or leadership, or by managing your own businesses or doing high ticket drop shipping itself. So I'll plug, like I always do, my supplier acquisition service. I've done this for around 40 to 50 people now. It's I At first it went a little slower than I was expecting, just because I hadn't really honed in on the process, on what would make the process most efficient quite yet. But I've gotten it to a point where, I can. My most recent client, I got them 4 suppliers within a day. So I know how to talk the language. I know I've been in high ticket drop shipping for about half a decade now. I know what suppliers are looking for. I know what kind of questions they're going to ask. So if you're maybe getting started and you're not super confident talking to suppliers, recommend checking out my service. I'd love to chat with you and love to help out your business. So beyond that, I don't want to be too long-winded with this video. I think it's still a really exciting time. Almost more so than ever with things like ChatGPT, and a lot of AI-driven strategies that we can use in high-ticket dropshipping, which leads me to kind of my final point here. Some exciting news. I am currently building my second course. I'm calling it High Ticket Masterclass 2.0. So my first course I built back in 2022. A lot of the principles, almost all of them, still hold true to today. Obviously, things like niche research, a lot of stuff, a lot of competitive research, I'm currently updating. I'm also going to have a big SEO portion. But I just want to bring it up to the times, because back when I made the previous course, ChatGPT wasn't really a thing. And there are so many things that you can do that makes life so much easier with ChatGPT. Aside from that, things like setting up your Google Analytics and just directly integrating it with Shopify, directly integrating your Google Merchant Center and your Google Ads with Shopify, and automating a lot of the conversion tracking that otherwise previously would have had to been set up manually. There's just little things like that have changed since then, but the overall model, the overall principles that I think of, a lot of that has stayed the same. So right now, if you purchase the current version of the course, the link will be in the description below. You will automatically be grandfathered in to High Ticket Masterclass 2.0. And I'll just tell you up front, High Ticket Masterclass 2 is going to be significantly more expensive than the current version of the course. So I would say, especially if you're like just getting started in this and you want to get your feet wet in it, Get in at the lower price point now. You'll be grandfathered in. You'll get access to the Discord. You'll get mentorship calls with me, and you'll get access to the new material that everyone else will have to pay a lot more for. So, recommend checking it out. And as always, if you have suggestions for video content, if you have questions for me, you can shoot me an email. I'll put all the relevant links in the description below. But looking forward to uploading more content in the weeks to come, and I'm looking forward to talking with a lot of you soon. All right. Thanks, guys.